Recording.
I'm getting it up.
Okay.
We are now, let me make sure he's recording now. Yeah, we're good.
Good? All right, calling the meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, June 9th, 2025. I'm in July, excuse me. Hammond City Council Chambers. Verification of meeting notice.
Yes, it was posted here at our office and online 24 hours in advance.
All right, roll call.
Todd DeLon, Chance Kinchin,
Here.
Mary Gito. Here. Kayla Morgan, John Exnicious.
Here.
Okay.
All right. First up.
No amendments,
Okay.
so if y'all just want to go over the minutes.
Yeah.
I think the financial statement should be in the drive. It's not? Okay. Then that might be an amendment. I don't know. Michelle said they were working on it, but I guess they didn't finish it. I don't know.
I think it's not an amendment, I think it'll just be something that has to be approved at the next meeting.
Yeah.
instead.
So I'd like to make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes from June 11th, 2025.
Okay.
A second.
Okey-dokey. John Exnicious,
Yes.
Mary Gito,
Yes.
Todd DeLon, Chance Kinchin,
Yes.
Kayla Morgan. Okay.
All right. So do we need to make a motion to move the June financial?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to move the June financial statement to our next board meeting in August.
I'll second.
Sorry. Todd DeLon, Chance Kinchin,
Yes.
Mary Gito,
Yes.
Kayla Morgan, John Exnicious.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, director's report.
We're going to have to come back to that because she is going to be late.
All right, staff report.
You want to go first, Dara?
All right, nothing super fancy in my main report. We'll skip over the local palette thing. I just will say one thing that I thought was pretty delightful on Facebook was the photo we posted of the lifted car in front of the gas station. Got 7.3K in
What?
29.7K views, 62 likes, and 35 shares because it was a popular person in downtown Hammond and people were delighted.
I didn't even see it. Who was it?
Yeah, it was just a random guy outside the gas station. We had a photographer. She just took the picture because she thought it was a cool looking car.
Okay.
So I thought that was,
You never know.
Yeah.
super fun. The job board, per usual, is always gonna be great on the website. Our videos are doing great on Instagram. Weekend Roundup still doing good. Our MailChimp is in good shape per what Kayla says. Our website stuff is pretty much looking the same. The job board and the farmer's market tend to stay on there. Nothing super interesting there, but you can go ahead and X out of that report and go over to where it says local palette. It's just a picture.
Yeah.
This is a magazine Downtown Hammond was featured in. If you scroll down, it's called Downtown Revival. If you'd like to read it more, I can go ahead and send it to you. But if you want to give it a little scan, it's a bunch of little main streets that have revived. There's a lot of them in here, and we got included.
Do we have photos, or some of these photos are, or are these just?
Yeah, some of these photos are, I got approval from everyone they wanted to include to have their
Okay.
photos. So we have a photo from Topla, and we have a photo from Luma.
Nice.
So I thought that was really neat.
Yeah.
All right, Ashley?
I'll be quick. My main things I've been doing these past few weeks have just been helping deal with the farmers market applications and setting up the interviews. We had some really good applicants, which obviously we'll discuss as on the agenda. And then we just been doing some follow-ups with Hammond Live sponsors, seeing who's going to be at the events and who's not, and stuff like that. And then the biggest thing has been dealing with all the applications and registrations for Hot August and making sure everybody's like paying their fees and things like that. And just following up with everybody. And then reaching out to vendors and merchants who participated last year, making sure they're signing up And I'll be sending out a merchant newsletter tomorrow announcing Hot August again, and we'll be including some other stuff in that as well. And then we have our Main Street quarterly reports due next Tuesday, so I'll be doing that this week and next week.
I have a
as well.
question. What happens with the Hammond Live since was it canceled or postponed?
It was, well, you want to?
What do you do with the sponsors for that?
So we actually had no sponsors for that one,
Oh.
so we are fine.
We did have Janie King for that, but
We talked about it at the events committee on Monday, and basically, we're going to honor an additional concert for the spring if that's what they would like to do.
Okay.
And then with the people that were unable to play, we're going to just move them to the first spring concert.
Okay. All right.
Kayla's also on her way.
Okay. Anything else? We good on that?
no, I'm good on mine, yeah. I'm done with mine.
Okay.
Do you want to do your report real quick?
She can do hers.
Oh,
We
we
did theirs
already-
You
already.
did, just say you're up.
Yeah, what's everybody? I don't have too much to report here, other than I got back from being out of the country for 2.5 weeks on Saturday, and I've been to work since Monday, and it has been a lot to keep up with. What's the password to our thing?
No, if you know it off the top of your head, I can to pull it up.
Look at it. But the biggest things that I already have kind of slated on the agenda, partners is in place. Hang on. Which we'll talk about that in a moment. But since I've only been at work for 3 days, I've been mostly occupied with doing farmers market manager interviews and kind of just responding to inquiries. So we do have a ribbon cutting for Willow Pharmacy next week. They are officially open. And we've had several other businesses open. Staple and Coop, which is a vintage and consignment store. She actually was a farmer's market vendor with us for a moment. And she is,
I bought an expensive used shirt from them the other day.
oh, did you?
I did.
So, hang on a minute. So we're excited to see that kind of take root and flourish. I've known her for several years. But we've got things moving in a good direction. Like I said, I've only been, this is my 3rd day back at work from being out of the country for 2.5 weeks. So that's about all that I have for right now.
When these new companies opening up, are we doing any reach out just to see how they're doing within their first 30 days or 60 days, to see if there's anything we can do to assist them? I saw that you went into the depot, or the, whatever that's called.
Bento.
Bento, yes.
Yeah, so usually when the business opens, we do try to have contact with them and get some like social media stuff and check in with them. Especially now that I'm in this role, some things I've slipped through is like Precious Prince, but Precious Prince and I are currently in communication on just when our schedules are able to align. So it is something we are working towards with our new businesses
Okay,
and just doing a whole social media campaign around them and whatnot.
yeah, give them a little
I think one thing we
shine.
can formalize are regular check-ins. So we normally have those based around our events. So like Hot August is the biggest opportunity for us to kind of touch base with the businesses, but related to just like their normal operations, you know, making those kind of personal visits and just kind of checking on them, I think would serve us well to incorporate that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
okay. I have concerns about one of them, but I'll talk to you offline on that, because I think it's good feedback, so, okay. All right, is that everything for your? Okay, so next would be marketing.
Hi, sorry, had a bad appointment. Michelle, did you mention the contract with Antoine being signed?
I've not.
Okay, so we have our committee meeting this Friday. We didn't have it last month, so we'll be meeting about all the things coming up. But a couple things we worked on were Ashley Brado on my committee worked with Dara on doing the wine and cheese stroll logo and updating it, which looks really great. We also did the Tangy Lifestyle ad, which will be for this upcoming quarter. So Dara and I worked on that when Michelle was out, and then we signed the contract with Antoine Marketing. And that will help us with optimizing the local search for the DVD. They'll be doing analytical and organic SEO on the website. as well as assisting Dara with a couple of projects, like things like flyers or brochures that we have to do for the DDD. They'll be active in that design, and then also the Change Your Lifestyle ad. We'll have them pick up the next one, which is October, November issue. Is that what the next one is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they'll help us out with that. So they'll kind of take a little bit of that bigger picture design work, hopefully off of Dara's plate, which is what we had intentions of doing.
Yes, and I love doing it, but I'm not a graphic
We'll be meeting with them again,
designer.
because they'll be offering search packages, SEO, search engine optimization packages to different merchants in the DDD. So we'll have more conversations about that as well.
Yeah, and we do have that contract, I signed it maybe yesterday or Tuesday.
You did, yeah.
So the committee will talk about it on Friday as well, but it will really help us implement our brand more and our destination marketing lens a little bit more and be a little bit more holistic in that, while taking some of the pressure off of our staff and
Yeah.
being able to
So
do that.
talk to me about what are they doing as far as, they're doing SEO work?
They're going to
Or
do
like
some,
Google page or something, or-
some local search stuff. So when you have your Google My Business page, which is considered local search, they do a lot of optimizing on that. So there's a lot that happens on the back end with tags, descriptions, your NAP scores, how you're listed. So it's making sure that the brand is completely optimized online. So it's not just with Google, that's with everyone. So they're able to run scans to see where there's incorrect listings, and that has to be checked every month. So they're offering that package as well as organic SEO for the website, meaning they'll be able to take the website we have, they'll be able to implement more organic SEO, so search engine optimization with keywords, meta tags, descriptions, and then give us stats on that as well. So doing a lot of the, what I call building the bones of the house, that sometimes we build a house and we want it to be really cool, not trying to use your terminology, but literally this is what I tell my clients. SEO is kind of making sure you don't get termites. So it's kind of going in there and really doing the stuff that is helping your reach become broader and more people to find out about the website, the merchants on it, all the content. So it's really optimizing the content that you have. The other
And overall measurable,
Yeah.
which we don't have super great. We have some metrics through Squarespace right now, but we'll have more, but better metrics on, by doing all of this too.
And Squarespace is just giving us metrics on the site. Organic or local search will give us metrics on the Google page. So it'll give us like how many people clicked on the website. It'll give us an actual number, how many people clicked on a phone number, how many people clicked on directions. So it'll give more information about the downtown development's page itself, which is great for them to showcase because they want to be able to offer packages to the local merchants that would want to do that for their business at a preferred rate, which is really a great deal. The other thing that we're working on is Retail Week. So Dara sent out, did you mention that in your part?
No, the reason I didn't mention it is because we actually are deciding to move when Retail Week is.
Okay.
Just because next week, so we are doing a Retail Week. Next week was going to be when it was. However, it's also the same week as Hammond Live. So to make things a little bit easier, we've decided to move Retail Week to July 20.
The last week of July.
July 26th through August 2nd is when it will be. That way, also, we had really low sign-up rates. This way, it gives me an opportunity to actually contact vendors, not vendors, merchants personally, and actually talk with them because people just don't check their emails. They're busy. So I think they need someone to reach out to them and explain what it's like. And like Kaylee Norton reached out and was unsure on what she should do, so we were able to troubleshoot some like ideas. So I think sometimes people just need that.
Did you quantify how many people you would want to sign up for Retail Week? Have you put a number around that?
I would like at least 10 to 15. If I had more, that's awesome, but I do understand like it's going to be relatively low, but
Yeah,
We'll
I mean,
talk about that on Friday.
yeah, we basically, if they want us to advertise anything specifically for them, like that's really what we're looking for them for. But we can also say like, this is our lineup of retail merchants, and as long as they are open during the week, like it's not necessarily exclusive to only those that are hosting sales or activities. But that will be included as a part of the way that we're marketing it, some additional sales and things that they might have lined up. So if, you know, there might be one or two merchants that don't have anything specific planned, that doesn't mean that they can't be included, but we would make a way for them to still be a part of the lineup.
All right. Next up, design. Mary?
Yeah, so, oh wait, this is did we not have a meeting last month? We did, but this is July agenda. Okay, anyway, design committee,
Well, we already reported for June.
no, I think the meeting
No,
was
'cause
after
the-
this.
it-
meeting.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it's just the wrong agenda. It's okay. We had our meeting and we approved, well,
Let me look up. Let me just put it in
we talked
here.
about, we got the fee proposal from the consultant to help us revise the UDC, which is a Universal Design,
Unified Development. Code.
Unified Development, oh my gosh, Unified Development Code, which is basically the design guidelines for downtown. Because it's a little ambiguous, and we were going to work on doing it, and we decided we're not qualified, we need somebody who handles things like that. So we got a quote from a consultant who's done that for other cities. It was basically not to exceed $10,000, which everybody on the committee felt was acceptable. His hourly rate was a normal hourly rate. And so have we entered into?
Not yet. I did touch base with them while I was on vacation, and they do plan to come. We emailed today about having a day between now and the 27th for them to come for a site visit. But I did clarify those things that we wanted to clarify with them on the scope of the work.
So we're just working through that to try to get that task started, because there are things that are happening around downtown that are not like lighting and landscaping and things that may not be following a design guideline, and we feel like if we could strengthen up the UDC, it would, like the Historic Commission they're able to enforce things because theirs is written a little more handily. And so ours needs to be written in a manner that we actually have teeth to a leg to stand on to enforce these things. Also, one thing we're looking at incorporating into that is a checklist of what happens when you want to build or renovate or do something downtown, because it's very unclear what people need to do first, second, third, fourth with the city, DDD, Historic Commission. So it would kind of clarify that as well. So that's one thing. And the other thing, which we're going to really talk about tomorrow, is Whitney from the city, who handles the landscape maintenance, came to the meeting. And apparently there's all this money that the city has. They're going to re-landscape Kate Square Park. And the city just told her, you have this money, and she's just going to go do it. So the design committee was never consulted. We have a landscape architect on the committee who did the master plan of the park, and they just bought a bunch of things, and they're just going to go plant them. And so they asked her, why would we not be involved? Why do we not have a say-so? It really needs to be thought out, not just, you have $7,000, go plant some shrubs. So Roy Dufresh on our committee actually sent an email this week, and he's trying to set up a meeting with her or someone else, because he sent her a list of, it doesn't make sense for the city to plant additional things when they're not maintaining what we have. And he gave her an itemized list of the dead trees in Railroad Park, Railroad Park is supposed to be the gem of downtown. There are dead trees, there's weeding that needs to happen. The new welcome sign has weeds that are so overgrown, it's almost covering the word Hammond on City of Hammond. So his thing is, if the city's not maintaining what we have, why would we go plant more things?
Can I ask you this, can that money also go towards like where the bricks around like the planter
Yes,
areas
that's part
are
of
breaking up?
Well,
Like, I
that's
mean-
part of it, correct. And the design committee was looking at, and he was going to do this, I think, looking at maybe getting a overall aerial view of downtown and designating some priority areas, and that's one of those areas where the brick around the trees
Yeah, I
is
mean, it's
breaking.
all throughout town
Right.
as you go where
There-
planter
Yes.
things, and
There
the
are
bricks are breaking
areas,
off.
there are areas like between Luma and Batter, there's one area of the sidewalk that hasn't been redesigned to match the rest of the sidewalks. There's no brick. It's right where you sit outside of Luma, and there's just these little patches of grass and trees that there's just dog poop in them all the time. It's like, why is that really there?
Yeah.
That should really be paved to match. It would give more seating space, some things like that. So I think Roy was going to look at an overall,
I've been supposed to get a planter and some boulders,
yeah,
because if y'all haven't driven by Chino, the little front thing right there, everything else looks pretty nice.
right,
Mine's been ran over so many times.
yeah.
They told me they were gonna put a planter in. She's really nice, and she does talk to
Right.
me. and they were gonna put some rocks to try to prevent people, because we almost had somebody come in the building.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. So just,
Which is closest ever got. It had to be the perfect car, and they were almost
Right.
perfect.
so I think just the committee is very aware and concerned about the idea of, again, how's this working? Did the city just told Whitney, we have this money, now go do this? There's not been any planning involved.
Yeah, she just
And
gets loads.
there's not been planning with like a landscape architect, which is what should happen in a well-planned area. So we're just trying to get involved in the conversation and not have them go doing things haphazardly. And then maintain what we have. That is true. Why would you go plant new things if you're not even maintaining what we've got in the two brand newest areas, right?
Yeah, so was the money already spent already, the way they already have all
So
the stuff?
the
remember.
specific, for Kate Square Park specifically, they actually submitted a grant application to keep Louisiana beautiful. So they had already specified like what their budget was going to be and what they were going to buy for the improvements to Kate Square Park by the time that we had our meeting. So technically, things have not been, like, that has not been awarded and hasn't been, nothing's been purchased yet. But experience that we had just this past spring was there was some extra grant money lying around, and Parks and Ground, basically, they bought several $1,000s worth of plants, and they did plant them in downtown. You probably have noticed them, like on Robert or Charles. She planted several things over there, and, you know, some of it has already been dug up by people. Some of it's already dying. So either way, when you look at it, it's a maintenance plan needs to be like heavily considered with existing planting and new planting. And so that, in addition to some streetscape improvements that we recognize are outside of our current scope, but that we still want to make sure that we keep track of, seeing how it all fits together. And like with all things, with what we're trying to do, we really rely on the coordination with the city's departments in a lot of these areas. So we can do what we can to develop a plan and advocate for the best course of action on these things. But ultimately, trying to get ahead of them is where the trouble has been, because we always learn
Find
kind of
out
after the fact.
And it's just there's no plan. There's no plan for the design of it. There's no plan for the maintenance of it. And that's just a waste of money if you don't have a plan and it's going to look haphazard. And so we've got two very vocal committee members who are semi-retired who have time to shout about it. And so they're trying. So that's the design committee report.
All right. Events.
So, as I informed you all via email, Hillary was our chair for that committee, so I am just operating in lieu of not having a board member appointed to that committee. If there is a board member that would like to run that committee, I don't think anyone has the capacity to do that right now, but we will want to have one of our two new board members that will eventually be able to take over that role. But we did meet this Monday, and we talked about weather policy for Hammond Live, respective to cancellation. So we kind of already discussed that. Basically, it's going to be hard for us to reschedule those concert dates for that season. So like a fall date, it's going to be hard to kind of get that rescheduled. So any sponsorships or musicians we will honor for the next season with any affected concert dates. We also will be reviewing a musician contract in general, like sound tech, like vendor contract at our next meeting, just so that we have our weather policy and like expectations just clearly laid out for the operations of that event. What else did we discuss?
I have a question.
Yeah.
On here is the review of branding for the wine and cheese stroll. Did we already get an exemption from the city council for Hot August?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had ATC approvals for our two Hammond Live summer concerts and then for Hot August.
Okay.
We'll have to go back before them for our fall Hammond Live, which the first one will be in October, so sometime in September.
Okay.
Yeah, so we did discuss like general weather policies for other events too, but basically for Hammond Live in particular, we decided that 3 p.m. on Friday, if there's inclement weather, that would be the time that we'll call the event, and be able to, move, just inform people if we're not able to have it. And for events like our bigger events like Hot August, we do have a weather policy for that already kind of laid out, but something like Hot August, if it were to have to be rescheduled, is just like a whole like different ball game. So in the times where we have actually rescheduled Hot August, it's only been because like Hurricane Ida came through, and we just moved everything from that event over to Starry. So that's kind of a more workable plan for that. And all these other smaller ones, Revered Roar, it's on a Tuesday during homecoming, so more than likely just be canceled. Trick or Treat is usually hosted on a Wednesday, so if the weather's not good there, we usually just do it that Thursday. It has worked out in the past. The Road Home is a one-time event for us this year, so that would more than likely just be canceled too. And then Starry Saturday was one that we talked about a little bit, just because we have had to reschedule that one in the past. So December is really a challenge for Starry, and it winds up not being like a real benefit to our businesses because December is already so busy. So we basically kind of talked about just prioritizing the sip and stroll as a part of that event if we would have to modify for weather. So that kind of summarizes that. Hammond Live, we have a total of 3,500 in sponsorships for the as it stands. So these are for our 2025 concerts. Devin Gabriel has been amazing, an amazing committee member, hitting the ground and getting the word out for us and connecting us with Janie King, Off the Hook, and Gnarly Barley to get sponsorships for these events. So hats off to her for helping us in that area. And we still have opportunity for additional ones since it's a little bit of a smaller bracket than our one-time event sponsorship for Hot August and for Starry, if anyone is interested. But she's been super helpful in getting those. Ashley's been following up with the sponsors, and then Dara's been incorporating them into the marketing for the events. So we are following our deliverables related to that. I'll also say our event sponsorships are a lot more manageable than the model that we were doing, which was that annual sponsor program that we had tried out a couple of years ago. So this has been much more manageable for us as a team to kind of take on. For Hot August, we have a bit of a change in a partnership with the Hammond Regional Arts Center, with the arrangement of splitting the ticket sales and keeping the work as is. They weren't interested in pursuing that arrangement. So we will be handling the wine and cheese stroll for Hot August this year, and therefore retaining the ticket sales from the event, which does change our sponsorship goal for this, which we were targeting 10,000 in sponsorships. So that definitely lessens that, but we still have a goal of 6 sponsors for Hot August. And those are $1,000 sponsorships, which includes a complimentary registration to the wine and cheese stroll, which is at a $300 value. And people really like that opportunity because people like to participate in the wine and cheese stroll. It's really fun for their business. So with that being said, things for Hot August are moving forward in a good direction, and we will still be seeking sponsorships for that too. We launched ticket sales yesterday, but as we get stuff out there, people are always excited for Hot August, and we are too. Okay.
All right.
And we did do some talking about the road home, which is coming up soon. That's in September 20th. Really leaning on the committee to have a collaborative approach for us for that September event because September is usually our calmer time between Hot August and our fall events. And so we are delegating zones to them to really put some hands on the ground for for this event. We're working with Raising Cane's as a sponsor for this. That's been really fun to kind of work with some of these higher, like, caliber companies. Red Bull is going to be coming out to the jam. They'll have a live DJ truck. So it's more work for us, but it is also kind of a fun, different endeavor for us as well. And we're building relationships through the process. So we'll have a better kind of plan for the implementation and execution of the event by August. But it's, we mostly have like everything. It's still up here. It's all going to come together, and Terry's super excited too. So that's where we are with that.
Alana and Leanne reached out to me. They want us to make I guess, like a task list for committee members to see what needs to get done so they can all come.
We have a.
Yeah.
You do have it?
That's a follow-up
Well,
item from
we
the
have-
committee meeting.
Awesome, because
Yeah.
they want to be able to see what works best for each of them.
Can I ask about this part, the design needs for the merch?
Yeah.
What, we're producing merch for this?
So, I guess merch loosely, Terry does want a custom T-shirt for it, and I said, if you want a T-shirt for it, it would have to be pre-sales only, and it would be very basic. We do have about 150 athletes that are coming, and so having some form of like a water bottle, a sticker as a giveaway is something that we can do as a sponsor or participant for the event. So when talking, I spoke with Alana at our events committee meeting yesterday or Monday. And basically, I mean, I've told Terry, I'm like, if you want a more custom look, you are going to have to pay for that outside of us. We are only able to do like very minimal things. But he does want some custom products related to it, related to the
And I'm
event.
sorry, I don't know what the Road Home event is. What is this?
So the Road Home, it's a documentary premiere and Flatland Jam with Terry Adams. He's
Oh, is
a
this the
professional.
skateboarder?
He's a BMX
Biker?
flatland
Okay,
biker, yeah.
okay, then I know what it is now.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Just on the swag bags, what about reaching out to more folks to see
Yeah.
if they would potentially want to collaborate?
Oh, yeah, it's a good idea, athletes.
I know they collaborate with Chapapila for all.
No, that's a great idea. I'm just, I'm just kind of curious about that and what that looks like, because, I love merch, but I'm kind of anti us in the merch business right now until we move through a lot of our merch. Is there?
Yeah.
Outside of him having something custom for that, is there something I agree with what Chance was saying about swag bags, gifts, but is there something we could gift out of the DDD merch too for those bags?
Yeah, we can. Just to clarify, basically, we would not be buying wholesale merch to sell, like at an additional price. Like, we're not going to get an inventory for those types of things. I told him specifically for the T-shirts that we would do pre-orders, like we would put it out there. We would do pre-orders for it only, and that would be an option really to his friends and family who wanted to get a shirt from it. So I don't anticipate putting any money into getting merch and hope that we get it back, just so that we're clear
What
on
about
that.
the stuff that we would give, the water
So
bottle?
the water bottle, that was something I'm gonna was trying to figure out. So like if he wanted to have it custom branded, then working with Tangi Tourism did do a sponsorship for it. So we do have other sponsorship funds that can cover some of these things.
Okay.
So if he wants it to be custom, then we have to kind of add it into that. I haven't gotten that far in all of those
Gotcha.
details.
What were you about to say about the design when you talked to Alana? What were you about to say?
When we talked about how it would work, I basically said, if you're really passionate about taking something like this on, like I'd love to connect you with Terry and to see how y'all can discuss that separately. And then if he wants to pay for a design or whatever that would look like between them, that's on them. But at the point that we are involved in it, we would just basically be putting out a link that says, this is the T-shirt order form. So not having a very hands-off kind of approach
That wouldn't
to
be a
it.
conflict with her being on the committee? Because
No.
that would be a separate thing?
Yeah.
Got it, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious.
All right. I'm up next. So I really don't have any updates since last. We're going to have a very full meeting tomorrow to address the things that we spoke about last time. So other than that, I have nothing to report.
Actually, if you'd like to look at the agenda,
Of what we will be discussing.
yes, it's up on,
I can pull it. I don't think I just have that. So we will be
it's up on here.
discussing the electrical capacity of the area if they were to move into the parking mall. We're going to discuss utilization of the parking mall across the tracks that's parallel to the railroad, across from Ruby. And then we're going to clarify the chain of command as far as how the farmers market's operated. We are going to introduce bylaws of discussion to open nominations for the community seat that had quit. Notification of status of hiring a new market manager, where we are on that. Then we're going to discuss discussion of positive PR campaign. And then we're going to introduce guideline revisions, which there's a list. So. I can
When is
read
your
them.
meeting?
Tomorrow night.
I'm
So-
going to come.
Do you want the marketing meeting on Friday to talk a little bit about some PR opportunities too, for you guys?
Yeah, that would be good.
I mean,
That'd be
that might
helpful.
be some great insight
Yeah.
for that committee. to-
That would be helpful. It's a great
Okay.
idea.
So why don't you guys create some ideas in your incubator, and then you toss them to me, and then I can bring them to our meeting on Friday?
Okay, I'll do my best. It's gonna be a
Just
long.
like objectives, like what are your objectives? You know, I know what they need to be, but
Yeah, yeah,
why
yeah.
don't you find out from your committee
Okay.
what they would like their objectives to be?
Okay. All right.
And I can try to get that information and send it to
Okay.
her if I'm
That'd
coming
be
to the
good.
meeting.
Okay.
I can focus
And then
on
we'll
that.
talk about it in our marketing
Okay.
meeting.
Did we lose Niagara Farms?
Yes.
Oh, we did?
Their last market
didn't
was
know
at the end of June.
No, I didn't know that.
There was one other question I was going to ask you. Oh, what about the market manager? Are you narrowed down to
I
a
think
certain amount
it's
of
on
people?
It's on
or
the
is it
agenda.
Yeah, we're
so
going to
we'll-
review it.
Okay, sorry, got ahead of myself. Just going for the fun stuff.
You're just excited.
All right, so up next would be Chance Merchant.
Merchants, we did not have a meeting this past month. Just want to confirm that we are good for the 31st of this month for our next Merchants Committee meeting.
Yes.
Okay, so I had a couple people want to confirm that, so I'll send that out to them today. From the chamber appointed seat position, tomorrow is chamber after hours at Gabriel's. So they wanted me to mention that. And then also August 9th is chilling with the chamber, which I'm sure you'll all know about, but just wanted to be on record.
Good deal.
We did donate some silent auction items for Chilling with the Chamber, so,
We contributed.
yeah.
Huh? I didn't hear you.
We
contributed.
contributed items to the auction for Chilling with the Chamber.
Oh, for tomorrow?
Well, no,
Or for chilling?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What did I say for tomorrow? Tomorrow's,
After
tomorrow's
hours.
not, tomorrow's after
After
hours.
hours.
Yeah,
Gabriel Dillon.
sorry.
And then the last thing is Todd's residential.
John, are you?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, residential committee. Todd.
We did have a meeting in June,
You what?
but, so he must have already
Residential committee.
He must have already provided that update.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
so
was
there's
before.
nothing new for that.
All right, then we're going to move on to old business. So notification of the two open board seats, the largest assessed property, owner nomination.
Yes. I'm going to reopen this process. We did not get any nominations, mostly because I was not in town. And usually in order for us to get nominations, I've got to go make appointments with our large assessed property owners so that they are giving us names. I'm looking at this right now because I want to make sure that we are on the same page. So our next board meeting is going to be on August 13th. I would like to have nominations open until August 1st, because by the time I get everything in, I have to check compliance with tax office, occupational licenses, and all these other things. So that gives us 3 solid weeks to locate nominees to fill the 2 open positions. So if anyone has any suggestions for those positions, that is welcomed. Just to clarify, the large assessed property owner seats, they don't technically have to work or be employed technically by the largest assessed property owner, as long as they meet the eligibility criteria to serve as a board member, which is having a business or owning property within the district. They can serve in the largest assessed property owner seat. The 10 largest assessed property owners, that list is available on our website and within this packet
This is right there, yeah.
somewhere.
I think it was we mentioned this before, but did anybody reach out to Jeff Lessishare?
That was in the past.
To tumultuous?
I did reach out to
He
him.
ran against me for the position.
No, it wasn't that it was tumultuous. I just think he doesn't think he has the commitment.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did talk to him this last round, and yeah, that's what he said. He said he didn't really have the time to commit. So, First Community Bank, so you're large assessed by Whitney Bank?
Correct.
Yeah. Regions, Capital One, 210 East Morris is Stoa Group, Investar Bank.
Is there nobody from Stoa? Cece from Stoa would be great. I can reach out to her.
Okay.
She's their HR person.
Yeah, I think that would be a good connection for us.
I can reach out to her.
Hammond Lodging and EN2 Holdings LLC. I'd have to look on the map to see where those are, but I have those addresses listed in a separate spreadsheet, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. So that's where we're at with that.
All right. New business, approval of the applicant for the position of farmer's market manager.
Yes, so we spent a lot of time going through applicants for this. I think we wound up having maybe over 60 or about 60.
At this point, I don't remember. It was probably less than that, but it was a good bit. So.
Yeah, definitely over 50 applications that we had come in. We did a round of phone interviews and then narrowed that down to 4 people for in-person interviews. I did put on here that executive session may be called, just so that we have an opportunity to discuss some of that as it relates to their names and qualifications offline. So I do have all of that listed here and would request an executive session for that.
So I'll make a motion that we go into executive session.
Second.
Sure.
You said it first.
I said it first? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Todd DeLon, Chance Kinchin,
Yes.
Mary Gito,
Yes.
Kayla Morgan,
Yes.
John Exnicius.
Yes.
We're good. We're back on recording.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that we come out of executive session.
I second.
Todd DeLon, Chance Kinchin,
Yeah.
Mary Gito,
Yes.
Kayla Morgan,
Yes.
John Exnicius.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'd like to make a motion that the executive committee, tell me if I'm saying this right,
That the board,
that the board defer the hiring of the farmer's market manager to the executive committee and director. Is that right? Okay. Do we have a second?
Oh, I second.
okay. Todd DeLon, Chance Kinchin,
I abstain.
Mary Gito,
Yes.
Kayla Morgan,
Yes.
John Exnicius.
Yes. Well,
I don't know if that passes.
yeah, then it doesn't pass. Okay.
So,
So then, do you have another motion in its place?
I just would like to get some more information on some people for this position that's been such a challenge already. And then we're just going, I don't know. I just,
Well, let me ask you this question. So, do you think you want the information on all four? I think one of them they can't
I
drop.
think if we can get information on the final two, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Okay.
I just would like to at least get some kind of information. I mean, and I understand we don't want to wait till August 13th, but I just.
Okay, well,
I mean-
this, as long as we're not a quorum discussing, we can talk to you about the
Yeah.
feedback, and then you guys give us insight where you think.
But
we
that's
need-
what you're going to do anyway. I thought that's
Yeah,
what the motion
well-
was
well,
for, you
yeah,
guys to
but
get
we're
more
on- but-
information. And then to,
But we didn't clarify that we're going to both of them, we only were gonna go to the one of them, right?
We didn't say that.
No, we just said you're
defer
going
it
to, we're defer the decision to,
so would you rather?
I can defer to, I can defer to the decision, but I would like to have more information. I just think that the position, I mean, let's think about all of our board meetings that we have. What's the majority of our time spent on? Farmers market. We need somebody that's gonna be, if we're gonna pay somebody to be the farmers market manager, we need somebody that can handle the market.
Right.
Not just somebody that we're giving a position to. And I just want to make sure we have the right person for the job.
Well, you know what, maybe we could do, I'm just throwing this out there here. If deferring would be okay, and if we go and get the information on those two, then, pending they come back, maybe we should have a final interview with that person to confirm that we're good with whoever the decision is before we pull the trigger and make the decision. Would that be even better? Like if Mary and I met with Michelle for a joint
Sure.
interview for a final third?
or do you think we need more than these four?
I trust their judgment if they have narrowed it down to these four. I just feel like the position needs to be somebody that can handle everyday business owners.
Right.
Yeah, I
We're
agree.
not dealing with somebody's lemonade stand.
Right, I agree.
And I just want to make sure we're getting the right person in place. That's the only thing I'm trying to say in all of this. I'm not trying to be a thorn. I've never been a thorn about anything, but we spend so much time on the farmer's market. We need a true manager.
I agree.
We don't know any of these people. I mean, obviously, we trust them to do it, but I think a little further in-depth background would be the best thing.
Okay, so procedurally, what are you suggesting that we do?
I will be fine to vote for deferring to the executive committee and to the director with a follow-up on the references
Okay, of the top two?
of the top two, yes.
So,
Make a motion to defer to executive committee and director for the hiring of the position of the farmer's market manager upon references of the top two candidates discussed.
Yes,
okay,
So that's Chance making the motion, right?
yes.
I'll second.
Todd DeLon, Chance Kinchin.
Yes.
Mary Gito,
Yes.
Kayla Morgan,
Yes.
John Exnicius.
Yes. All right. Next up, approval of 2025 Louisiana Main Street Technical Assistance Grant submission for the Farmers Market Strategic Planning or Committee Organizational Planning.
Yes, I wanted to provide this in here so that the board was notified of the opportunity. This was something that slipped my mind before leaving the country, but in recognizing that there are a lot of challenges with the market that we've had over the past couple of months, and as it continues to grow, recognizing that the resources and what is needed to run the market also continue to grow. And we might be outside of our wheelhouse a little bit in having those conversations on our own. The market has never had a strategic plan. Larger markets like the Baton Rouge Farmers Market, Market Umbrella, the Crescent City Farmers Market do operate with a strategic plan. And so seeing that it would be of a benefit to us to have those conversations, not only specific about the market location, but also strategically, how is the market incorporated underneath the DDD's umbrella as a small business incubator? How do we help scale those businesses that want to be scaled to brick and mortar, which we've had success stories about? So kind of the whole gambit of that, and seeing how it fits in organizationally, and making sure that we have the proper supports to facilitate the growth that's inevitable for the market.
So are we looking to approve submitting for?
I already submitted these 2 scopes of work.
Okay.
But I sent the email approval that y'all had
Right.
to Main Street, but they did ask for a board approval
So
for it.
I'll make a motion that we approve the 2025 Louisiana Main Street Technical Assistance Grant submission for Farmers Market Strategic Planning or Committee Organizational Planning.
And I'll second.
Todd DeLon, Chance Kinchin.
Yes.
Mary Gito.
Yes.
Kayla Morgan.
Yes.
John Exnicius.
Yes. All right, next up, discussion of partners in place, a technical assistance opportunity provided by the Louisiana Cultural District Program.
Yeah, so we were one of 3 cultural districts in the state awarded this technical assistance opportunity. What it is it's not money that we get to do a project, but we get services that come in to help us figure out what our identity around art is in our community. So we are working with the Hammond Regional Arts Center on this. We've been a designated, this opportunity was only available to designated cultural districts. We've been a designated cultural district since 2012, and it hasn't meant a ton, honestly, since we got the designation. And we do uphold that with the Hammond Regional Arts Center. We held an art talk earlier this year, and we had 35 independent artists come out and share a lot about what was needed to support our local artists in the area. And really what came out of that was needing our local art guild, the Hammond Art Guild, really needs some strategic planning and organizational support to serve the needs of our artists. And the role of us in the Arts Center, we can help bring people together about those conversations, but what I'm finding is that it's not necessarily our role to serve those needs in particular, but we can kind of help in this way, this technical assistance opportunity, hopefully direct some of this conversation towards getting our art guild where it needs to be to really help our artists with what they need. And also creating more connections between our artists that come out of Southeastern. There's a stronger pipeline of our artists that are learning to artists in exhibitions or independent galleries, and with connecting our artists to our art entities and institutions. So
To take action? Or?
we're not taking action right now, but we are planning for a site visit we are trying to figure out a date for a site visit. So they will be here for 2 to 3 days, and they will want to meet with folks that we identify. Melissa and I are filling out that together. But as we go through this process, if you are particularly interested in being involved in this, I think it's a mutual benefit to all of us. And particularly for artists, if you have any suggestions or recommendations about people that would be worthwhile to attend a site visit or a chariot whenever they come. We would want to make sure that that's known. All of that will be publicly advertised when all that's figured out, but they will want to meet with key stakeholders related to the arts in the community. So if you have any,
Also apply to high school and college students, like, as far as like the artist part of it?
yeah, it's an opportunity to bring everyone together about how art can be further supported in our community. So yeah, it's not exclusive to anyone in particular. So like the art teachers, for example, we would want them to be included, art students, and all that outreach to kind of get more buy-in related to that. So just know that that's going to be ongoing for about the next, at least through the end of this calendar year, probably into 2026 as well.
All right, do we have any announcements?
Hammond Live is next Friday, July 18th.
Please come to it.
Who's going to be playing?
It is a band called Incubators, and then Will Vance and the Kin Folk closing the night out and headlining. So.
Cool. All right, any public comment? No? Then meeting adjourned. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Big.